What's up guys, my name is Jedith, and this video is going to help you decide how you should be spending your third Spark of Omens in the War Within Season 1. I'm going to quickly recap how I suggested spending your first and your second Spark that we got a few weeks back, kind of just go over how you should be thinking about potentially using those items going forward, and then we'll talk about your third Spark that you're getting this week. I'll be showing you some sims to show exactly how much damage you could potentially be gaining by upgrading certain pieces, and how much damage you could be gaining from your third Spark depending on what slot you decide to craft it in. Alright, let's dive in. If you're looking to maximize your gold earnings in the War Within, or even just be a bit better about managing your money, TSM is the one-stop tool to help you become the gold goblin you were always meant to be. TSM can help you manage your auctions with ease, making sure you're not underselling your items or overpaying for your raid consumables every week. I've been grinding out professions pretty hard so far in the War Within, and TSM is able to help me figure out exactly what I should be crafting and what will make me the most profit. One of my favorite features is the sniper feature, which allows you to find and purchase items listed well below market value, which you can then resell for profit. TSM now has new premium packages that help you elevate your gold making by tapping into TSM's vast database to help you make informed decisions on what to buy and when to sell. Use my link in the description to get 15% off your first purchase of a premium TSM package. Okay, so in Season 1 of the War Within, your first craft as a Havoc Demon Hunter at least was very likely a crafted main hand weapon. This was the biggest upgrade for most classes right away. Weapons are so important and they're worth so much more than most other slots that you could potentially get. So a weapon was most people's first craft. On that weapon, you likely put an embellishment on it. You probably put the Dark Moon card sigil on it. And in that same week, you had a second Spark to craft. You likely used that on a belt or a pair of wrists. On that belt or wrists, you have the option of using either the Writhing Armor Banding to go with your Dark Moon Sigil, or you chose to use the Dawn Thread Lining, which gives you crit. It doesn't matter which one you went with in the short term because all the embellishments are kind of the same-ish early on, but eventually the end goal is to be using 2 Dawn Thread Linings, and that's something you'll be able to shuffle around and get yourself in a position where you can comfortably use 2 Dawn Thread Linings later on once we have more crafts than we do right now. So now in this coming week, we're going to get our third Spark that we can craft an item with. But before we talk about crafting that third Spark, we need to talk about the items we crafted previously. So now that Mythic Plus is out, we have the opportunity to actually go and farm Gilded Crests. And Gilded Crests are the highest rank of crests that you can get in this season. And they're going to come from Mythic Plus 9 and above, I believe. So if you're able to get 90 Gilded Crests, you can then go buy a enchanted Gilded Crest from the enchanting guy over there, and you can recraft your weapon that you made in the first week with that new crest, and that will get you a 636 main hand weapon. This is likely the biggest upgrade that you'll be able to get right now. The weapon you crafted in the first week should be 606 eye level, and you might have even stopped using it temporarily because you looted higher eye level weapons from the raid, or you got them from delves or the Great Vault even. So you might not even be using that crafted weapon anymore. But now that you're able to upgrade it, this is going to take it 3 eye levels lower than the highest weapon you can get this tier. The highest mythic weapon that you can get is 639. This crafted weapon is 636. So if you upgrade this weapon, you'll be using this for quite a while. The only time you'll upgrade it is if you're able to get the 639 versions of the weapons from the raid. So the Void Reaper's Warp Blade at 639, or the weapon that comes from Rashanon at 639. That is the Predator's Feast Hooks. If you can get those, you'll eventually replace this crafted weapon, but until then, this will likely be the best weapon you could possibly get. So just to show you what that upgrade would look like in terms of a number, so replacing my old setup, which was my Void Reaper's Warp Blade in my main hand and my PvP crafted weapon at 610 in my offhand, switching that setup to a 636 crafted weapon in my main hand and shifting my Void Reaper's Warp Blade to my offhand, that alone is a 31.5 thousand DPS increase, which is around a 2.8% damage increase total. And that's pretty significant in a single target. That's a substantial increase that you really should not let pass by. So if you're able to get those Gilded Crests, go ahead and spend them on upgrading your weapon. Now, if you're somebody who isn't going to be doing +9s or +10s anytime soon, you don't think you're going to be able to get those Gilded Crests in the next couple weeks, You could then go ahead and maybe upgrade your weapon to 619 with the enchanted Rune Crest. But if you do think there is a possibility of you ever getting those Gilded Crests, maybe over the next week, over the next 2 weeks, you should definitely hold out and then upgrade your weapon with those Gilded Crests. Now, also keep in mind, you should be getting a free enchanted Runed Crest from the quest that was made available this week, where you can go kill Queen Ansurek on story mode, and you'll get a free crest that you can use to then upgrade a piece of crafted gear. If you're not sure where to get that quest or how to start it even, I'll put a link to a Wowhead article down in the description, and it goes over where you can pick it up and what it involves. It's super quick. You can go in there solo on story mode, kill the last boss of the raid with a group of AI raiders. It's kind of funny. And yeah, you just get a free runed enchanted crest, and then you could use that to upgrade a piece of crafted gear. Now, in my situation, because I didn't want to spend that on my weapon, because I wasn't using my weapon, I was using this 619 Void Reaper's Warp Blade. It was, you know, higher eye level, instead of just upgrading my crafted weapon to a similar item level. So what I did is I spent that free enchanted runed crest on my wrists. So my wrists were my second craft, my second spark. So I went ahead and used my runed enchanted crest to upgrade my wrists to 619. And again, this is the second crafted piece. I'm using the Dawn Thread lining on these wrists to get the crit bonus. So the two crafted pieces I'm using right now are my weapon and my wrists. Now, if you maybe crafted a belt instead of wrists, that's perfectly fine. You didn't make the wrong choice. You probably made the right choice for you. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone's character is different. Your stats are different. If you crafted a belt, you can consider just using your free runed crest on your belt. It's going to be up to you. You have to kind of, you know, use your best judgment on that one. Now, if you've been trying to look up this information on guides, like on Wowhead or Icy Veins or whatever, some of them might be saying a crafted pair of hands or a pair of gloves is a good choice. And while this is true, it's not the best choice right now. The reason they're suggesting hands is because the tier gloves are the worst of the tier pieces in this season. It just happened to work out that way. The stats on them aren't that great. Hands aren't a super high value item. So it's recommending to eventually craft hands with targeted stats on it. So you can say you want crit mastery on these hands. There's also no good crit mastery gloves from the raid or from Mythic Plus this season, so that's part of the reason why it's saying eventually you want to be crafting gloves. The other reason I don't suggest crafting gloves yet is if you're still trying to collect your 2-piece or your 4-piece set bonus, you don't want to lower your chances of actually filling those bonuses. You want to leave all of your tier slots as open as possible, so if you do get a combination of 2 pieces or 4 pieces, and that can give you your tier bonuses, you want to be able to use those pieces. You don't want to block yourself off by, you know, crafting gloves, and then you go in your raid the next day or, you know, the next reset, and the first thing you get are tier gloves, and it kind of sucks to have to do that because you just crafted gloves, right? So you want to get your 2-piece and your 4-piece first, and then once you're able to maybe shift things around and make sure that you're getting that 4-piece from all of the other slots that aren't hands, then you can consider crafting gloves. Okay, so now we're getting to the point where you have your third spark, and what should you spend it on? I'll show you some sims that I've been doing for my character. Again, these might be a little bit different for you depending on your gear, your character, your eye level. I just did a quick sim trying to compare what the benefits of crafting either gloves, maybe a belt, or a ring would be. And again, this is utilizing our third spark that we're getting. So if we come down here, this is my current gear setup. So this is just with the crafted weapon and the wrists. In terms of my gear, if I were to craft a belt, it would actually be a DPS loss because my belt is already 610 and it has a socket on it. So this belt, if I were to craft it, it doesn't come with a socket, and you can't just buy a socket off the auction house. Those sockets only count towards jewelry. If I wanted to put a socket on this belt, it would have to come from the Great Vault, and that's just not something I can really see myself doing at this point. So belt is out of the equation for me. Now, if I were to craft the gloves, you can see the rune branded grasps, and these would be 619 up from a 606 that I'm wearing currently, and it would be a 5.2k DPS increase. Now, this is a green number. That's what we'd like to see. It's a plus, but it's kind of low. It's not the greatest. We're probably going to skip over crafting gloves for now. If we go higher than that, you're going to see it's starting to combine gloves and belt, which we can't do because we only have 1 spark to make. So we're not going to do that. And the other thing I wanted it to look at was a ring. Now, a ring is going to be pretty substantial for me because I'm using 2 606 rings, not greatly statted. My one ring has Verse Mastery, and the other ring has Haste Mastery. So my rings are kind of my weakest 2 slots at the moment. If we look at this sim right here, it's keeping my Writhing Ringworm the Haste Mastery ring in my one slot. And the second slot, we can have a Ring of Earthen Craftsmanship. And again, you can target the stats you want on this ring. So Crit Mastery, we're going to put 2 sockets on it because you can buy the sockets from the auction house. And without any gems in this ring at all, just the raw stats on it, it's a 13.4k increase in single target. Now this is pretty substantial. That's a big upgrade. Then we go ahead and add sockets to it, and this is going to go even higher, probably a couple thousand, and it'll probably be closer to like 20,000 to be completely honest. So I'm thinking for me, for my character, a ring is likely going to be one of the better options to craft right now. You don't need to think too long term with these crafts because crafted gear is 3 eye levels lower than the highest mythic level gear that you can get now. It's not like the first couple seasons of Dragonflight where it was equivalent. Ultimately, you know, even if I do craft a ring with these stats, it could potentially get replaced in the future. I could get a good ring from my Great Vault that is, you know, max eye level and it has crit mastery on it. And it's, you know, it's going to be higher eye level than this by a little bit. Yeah, all of this is replaceable. But in the short term, if you're trying to prog with your guild, you're trying to be the best you can be, you're trying to clear bosses, you want to get as much DPS now as you can. I'm likely going to be crafting a ring. That's going to be the best for me and my character. Could be different for you. You kind of have to make that judgment call and sort of assess what your gear is looking like. Ultimately, you want to help yourself try to fill those weaker slots that you have. If you have one ring that is like still 590, that's going to be a pretty substantial DPS increase for you to replace with a crafted ring. If you're still using a belt that's 590, that would probably be pretty good as well. You're gonna have to make that call. Okay, so that's it for the crafting thing right now. This is a little unrelated. I just want to say for any Havoc Demon Hunters watching, we made some updates to the Havoc Weak Aura pack. We now have a audio cue alert for the 4-piece set bonus when you get resets of your Blade Dance. So I'll just demonstrate what that sounds like real quick so you can hear it. Turn up my volume here. Okay. So it makes that little spark sound anytime you get a reset. It's super useful. It helps you, just helps you recognize it a little bit easier. We do have a glow that happens on the Blade Dance icon as well when it gets reset. But I found, you know, the audio cue just helps. It makes it a little bit more obvious. I prefer it. If you guys don't want to play with that audio cue, that's something you can turn off. Just open up your weak auras and you would go to the weak aura pack, go to reminders, and then there's going to be the War Within tier set season 1. You can come in here and just go to load and click on never. And that will turn off the audio cue for your tier set. But if you want to keep it on, it's there in the updated version on Wago. Link will be down in the description. You can download it today, install it, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like this video, leave a comment below, and let me know how your experience is going in the War Within so far. How are your parses? Would you guys be interested in seeing some content of me assessing or maybe critiquing other people's logs and telling them how to improve? Is that something you guys would be interested in seeing? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.